Welcome to Squared Circle Film Breakdown.
Viddal Riley is considered one of the pioneering figures in YouTube boxing. The former standout amateur gave the likes of KSI, Gibb, and Deji their first taste of the sport and the initial tools that would take them to where they are today. But Viddal's arena isn't the YouTube scene. He himself seeks bigger glory, to be a world champion in the pros. So how good is Viddal Riley? How will he fare at the world level? Let's look at the film. Viddal is a front foot counterpuncher fighting out of the orthodox stance. He mainly earns his money from the mid-range to inside. His offense consists of jabbing into his preferred range and then working off of what the opponent is giving him. But he mainly sets up his offense using a decent probe and feint game to get his opponent to open up and counter. He achieves this using decent head movement. After baiting the opponent to punch, he'll evade the shot and counter with hard combinations body-head, which can mix up very well. Viddal uses quick feet to bounce in and out of range, often working step-back counters when his opponent makes the mistake of committing. A favorite of his is the shoulder roll counter rear hand, which can variate into a straight cross, an overhand, or an uppercut. Against an overzealous opponent, he will also at times use a backstep shuffle to take the weak side angle and counter appropriately. Viddal is also a very physical fighter, using controls in the turns, and guard manipulations, which are high-level skills. Viddal, while talented, is not free of mistakes and has a ton of footwork issues that can run him into some problems as the level of competition rises. Starting off, Viddal tends to leap in the range with lead hooks or occasionally jabs. Leaping shots, especially the leaping lead hook, are dangerous as whenever you take both feet off the ground, you're vulnerable. If an opponent counters you at that exact moment, at best you're forced to reset upon landing. At worst, you give your opposition a free knockdown. Viddal also tends to rhythm step when resetting, temporarily breaking his base and leaving him vulnerable and off balance. Also, the rhythm step can be used for timing, as most fighters, including Viddal, will begin their offense after a rhythm step. Viddal also makes the mistake of L-stepping in range, a type of rhythm step. The L-step can be used situationally, but using it within your opponent's punching range creates another great opportunity where your base is broken and once again can be used for the purpose of timing. Crossing your feet is another moment when your base is broken and you have to step back into stance. It should never be done at all, but definitely not in range for the aforementioned reasons. Viddal will sometimes cross-step simply when changing directions, but more often than not, will force himself to cross-step due to his poor jab fundamentals. Viddal jabs, he will often incidentally bring his rear foot behind or even cross to his lead foot. To regain his balance, Viddal will either cross-step, rhythm bounce, or L-step back into stance. This creates a sequence where Viddal breaks his base multiple times in a row during and after a jab. Sometimes upon a reset or when trying to get in range, Viddal will step rear foot first and break his base, which leads to the same problems as before, not to sound like a broken record. I think Viddal is a very talented young prospect, but still needs more time building his resume and skill set before he's ready to take on the world. At the world level, a lot of the footwork issues I mentioned will get exposed. With only 7 pro fights, however, he has plenty of time. Hopefully he gets matched with a few tough journeymen who could give him some problems and help him improve. He could be a force at cruiserweight if he can iron out his feet. Like and subscribe for more content.